Heretic of Zata, in banishment answer. Can the Orokin ever be forgiven?
So let's talk Roathe, our new Orokin Protoframe. First of his kind of like Nightcrawler in disguise with that blue skin and of course the tail. We don't know much about Roathe or Uriel for sure, but what we've got enough hints of is to map the shape of him, so let's walk through some of those hints. Now Roathe, like I said, also called Uriel, looks like the Orokin's truth problem made flesh. Either he found the truth, he spoke the truth, or he literally is the truth, and the Orokin Empire stamped that as heresy. His punishment is maybe that they turned him into something that they seen as being useful, which is a Warframe. And when you tie that to Tauron Academy and the old piece, you start to see a figure who might have been the loose thread that unravels the treaty between Orokin and sentience. Now, can the Orokin ever be forgiven? That's Albrecht and Trati's line from way back in the Devil's Triad teaser back at TennoCon. Now, the simple answer to that should be no, but in the latest teaser, Roathe fires back with something sharper.
Uriel, Heretic of Zata, in banishment answer. Can the Orokin ever be forgiven?
What need has a devil for forgiveness? When hell is a lie spun by madmen.
He spoke in truths. The devil has come.
Soul in Lua, we will cleanse this follower.
Now, the term devils is what the Orokin will call the Tenno, and the lie spun by madmen sounds like a little bit of like a jab at the Orokin machine itself. So you've got Albrecht asking for absolution on one side, and then you've got Roathe calling out maybe a little bit of the propaganda from the Orokin on the other side. And we're not going to know what either of them mean until we get to play the quest ourselves. Now, the baseline for the character Roathe is that he is an Orokin Protoframe, so not a Tenno-controlled suit, but a human reshaped by the Technocide virus, but still recognizable as a human. Think along the lines of an earlier or cruder experiment by Albrecht. He is voiced by Renee Zaga, who is Emmett Selch in Final Fantasy, so it's basically Rebecca out here playing Pokemon with voice talent, and she has just caught herself a legendary to add to her, I guess, already stacked roster. But Roathe is the Protoframe and Uriel is the Devil Frame, that version of him. Now that name matters because official materials list Roathe as the Heretic of Zata, and in Void Tongue Zata means truth. So the title literally reads Heretic of Truth, which is perfect because it tells you how the Orokin operate. If truth threatens the Empire, they call it heresy, and they basically break that messenger down and accuse him of something else. According to DE's own website, Roathe is also perdition's physical manifestation, a warning that no one read. In other words, he was the red flag or the beware sign that everyone just kept on walking past. But where exactly Roathe fits inside Tau, and I guess the old piece, we don't exactly know. If Roathe was tied to the Tauron Academy as maybe a scholar, a researcher, an archivist, then Uriel, I guess, or that label of Uriel as his Warframe gets a little bit spicier, right? Because in some traditions, Uriel is one of the 4 archangels, sometimes shown with a fiery sword defending Eden's Gate, the Guardian of Knowledge, the Angel of Wisdom, or even an Agent of Revelation, which is a kind of neat reflection. The Protoframe as the Scholar and the Devil as the Revelation with a blade. So maybe Roathe found something on Tau, maybe he found something within the Academy's own records, maybe he put the pieces together about the old piece and said the quiet part out loud. We don't exactly know. The Devil's Triad quest is looking pretty interesting now when you start looking at some, I guess, the little hints. But new Protoframes themselves aren't exactly new to us, right? The concept of them at least. We saw the idea with Warframe 99 with the Hex, which were humans reshaped and experimented on by Albrecht, but still visibly human. Roathe doesn't seem to be from 99, though. He feels like maybe he might be the Orokin's earlier prototype of that same concept. Maybe he predates 99 with maybe harsher methods of experimentation by Albrecht. He could be, I guess, maybe the foundational experiment, one of the first, the ancestor to whatever, then Albrecht brings to 99 with the Hex. But we also have Harrow and Wisp Proto to consider as well in that, and we don't really know anything about them. So Again, it's all guesswork and we just have to wait and see. Now, from the most recent dev stream, however, Roathe really hates Albrecht, and that was straight from Rebecca. She said it during the dev stream, which definitely tracks. If Albrecht is the Empire's truth seeker who still plays by Orokin rules when it suits him, and Roathe is telling the truths that the Empire can't swallow, then of course there's going to be bad blood between the two of them, because Albrecht is going to want to paint Roathe in a bad light, and Roathe is going to feel like he's been harshly done by. Mentor and mistake, creator and condemned, or maybe rivals across a line. Maybe Roathe might be someone who is actually Albrecht's rival within, I guess, the scholarly or researcher side of the Orokin Empire. But I do think it's kind of interesting that if Roathe is the heretic of truth, and if his warnings were ignored, he could easily be what eventually cracks or puts one of the cracks inside that, I guess, very delicate and fragile peace treaty between the Sentients and the Orokin. Maybe he exposes what the Orokin are doing or experimenting on, or what they've done on Tau, and what plan they have next. He calls the Devils label a lie. Maybe he actually names the actual Devils, who is the Orokin Empire, and the so-called peace, which was already fragile, becomes crumbling down. Again, we don't know, I'm kind of just waffling. Now, where does that actually leave us? It leaves us waiting for the feckin' quest. That's where it leaves us, and seeing if we were right or if we were wrong, and how good our guesswork actually is. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Who is Roathe in your eyes? What has happened to him? His attire or his clothing do have kind of very vague or small similarities to what Ballas is wearing in that hologram when we seen the trailer for the old piece. But when the quest asks us, can the Orokin ever be forgiven? I guess the answer might not be what the Orokin want to hear. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think of Roathe, the reveal, whether you like the look of him or not. I know there is maybe conflicting sides to within the community of having our first Orokin Protoframe. Have a great weekend, and as always, thanks for watching.